Hi, I'm Sylvan from the channel MSoundFactory, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to show you some very useful MSoundFactory devices. If you are like me, you might have neglected the effects tab in your devices list a bit, but there is some very useful stuff in there, and today we're going to look at good devices for you to level up your transitions and also to create cinematic effects for scoring. So in MSoundFactory you will find the device Noise Riser Maker, which does exactly what the title suggests. It makes a riser out of noise. You can also reverse that direction, by the way. If you want something a little more powerful, you might want to use rise and fall. Aside from the noise, you also have access to two oscillators. Again, you can reverse that into a fall. And even more powerful is the device we're going to look at today, called Deep Impact. This gives you a riser and an impact inside of one device, and it's all timed to the BPM of your DAW. Here you can set the length in bars of your riser, and here the length of your impact. At 130 BPM, 1 bar of a riser, half a bar of an impact could sound like this. These sounds, I think, can be very useful for creating transitions in EDM or pop music, but of course they also could come in useful for general impact sound design if you make movie trailer music or cinematic music. Let's start by listening to some examples of what this device is capable of by using this die right here, which will randomly select any of these presets. If you can't find anything you like in the presets, you can also click this random button up here, and this will create a new preset. Let's say I like the riser here, but I think it's a bit too long. Let's set that to 2 bars, but I'm not 100% happy with the impact. I can just click this die down here and keep the same riser and get a new impact. And now we can already get into this mixer down here. We can set individual levels for all the different elements that are used to create this riser and impact. So as you can see in the mixer, the riser and the impact are made up of 3 components each. And right here we can decide to solo certain options and also level them independently. So currently our riser and impact sound like this. And I could, for example, solo just the noise layer of the riser. Or I could say, the kick was too loud, and I can just bring that down. So this means I could also isolate just the riser section or just the impact section. The thing with that is though, you can't trigger the impact directly. You would always have to trigger it 1 bar in advance from where you want it. Let's randomize these two. Randomize the levels. I think the kick could be a bit more prominent in the second half. That's pretty nice. And now, if we want more control, there is separate tabs with controls over the riser as well as over the impact. Let's start with the riser section. Each of these modules is built up pretty much the same way, especially within each tab. Let's look at the sample and the noise module first. Both of these work pretty much the same way. You can choose your riser sample or your noise type. Then you have some controls over tremolo, and let's solo the sample. You can turn tremolo off. This could sound like this. If you have this bend in the middle, this will lead to a pretty linear riser, so it rises at the same speed throughout its duration. And if you move it towards the right, it will start out being quite slow and then rise very fast. If you move it to the opposite direction, it will start rising fast and then slow down over time. And sweep gives it some more resonance. Here with some tremolo. All these words up and down mean that the tremolo increases over the duration of the riser, and if you choose down, the tremolo decreases over time. Same with delay. Up means it increases over time, and down means it decays over time. Same with reverb. So we start out with a dry signal, and by the end, we have a lot of reverb. If we choose down, it means we start with a lot of reverb, and by the end of the riser, the reverb is gone. Again, the sample and the noise have pretty much identical controls. So let's solo the synth module. You will notice we have a start shape and an end shape. So you could decide something like, I want my waveform to start out as a triangle, and then have more harmonics by the end. And then you can choose your octave range. For example, I want my riser to go up 2 octaves over the duration. Bend and fade and sweep, familiar controls. Fade is the only new control, and this one controls a fade in of the synth. So no fade in at all. And maximum fade in. Tremolo, delay, reverb, and unison. Another automation curve you can enable. Alright, so this is how you can build your own riser. Now let's look at the impact section. This one is pretty similar, but instead of the synth, we now have a kick. Again, you can choose any kick sample you want. Let's solo the kick. And here you also have control over reverb and delay, but not as a modulation curve, but instead as a static mix knob. Also, you have a die icon in every module, so you can also randomize every module on its own. Okay, now let's check this out in the context of a little track I made. I used MSoundFactory's Dream Machines, the Transgator, also from MSoundFactory. I added this jazz E-piano from Fruit DX10. I also put M vibrato and M charm verb on this one. I use this wood bass from Citrus. Alright, and now we can create a 4-bar long riser by triggering it with a MIDI note 4 bars from when we want the impact to occur. We set this to 4 bars, and this is how this might sound. Let's randomize this. That's pretty crazy. Another option. That's pretty intense, but this noise is maybe a bit over the top. Let's randomize the impact. Let's randomize the riser. But maybe it could be cool if we have a very long reverb tail on that kick. Not too bad, but let's try something completely different. Let's try an 8-bar long riser. And what I've noticed is sometimes a very short trigger won't be enough, especially if you work with 8-bar long risers. So I would suggest you drag out your MIDI trigger as long as you want the riser to be. 4-bar long impact, randomize both layers, randomize the level. I mean, it was definitely an effect, but I don't know if this is what I would go for. All right, let's try to design our own riser and impact. Let's keep it all pretty much even to start. 4-bar riser, 1-bar impact. We could try no tremolo at all. Linear build up with the sample. Maybe, yeah, a lot of sweep. No delay and more reverb over the course. So reverb up. Let's just listen to that layer. I don't love the sample. Let's use a random different one. That's pretty cool. Maybe we have tremolo 50% down and wide. Let's move on to the noise. No tremolo. Maybe bend it the other way so it is slower at the start. Maybe have the sweep a bit lower. No reverb on this, because if we layer this reverb tail with this reverb tail, it gets a bit much. That's pretty cool, but maybe it's a bit too loud. Let's move on to the synth. Bend should be the other way around as well. A lot of fade. Yeah, that's okay. Let's hear that together. Okay. Let's check out the kick. It's not bad. Can have a lot more reverb for my taste. Let's try just sample number 1. That's a bit bright. Number 2. That's a bit dull. Let's try number 3. I like that. Let's make it a bit longer. All right, so your transition could sound like this. Alright, big thanks again to Melda for having me. Let us know what other MSoundFactory devices we should make videos about. Remember that you can download a trial version of MSoundFactory. You can use it free for 15 days, see what transitions you can create with deep impact, and explore the rest of the wide range of instruments in MSoundFactory. Thanks for watching. My name is Sylvan from the channel Centus Sound Factory. See you again.